I guess this team needs change in some form or shape.
Well, we're going to have to see if Origen can overcome the struggles.
Can you imagine just how rough that must be for a team that has always been the 7th place team? We need to see how their mental fortitude will hold up.
A team like Vitality is a team that is supposed to be in the top of the rankings.
Like all the games recently from Unicorns, it's like fight.
I've just really liked their growth and their ability to adapt to the meta.
Maybe Fnatic have higher their skill ceiling.
Sven and Mithy, probably the best bottom lane here in EU.
Kobe and Mickey are going to get to a point where they are the new Mithy and Sven.
You can't afford to lose anything. It's very, very close in the EU LCS.
Double kill, triple kill, over to Freeze, and this is H2K's.
He's alive, he's still shooting bullets, a triple kill to take out Sven.
European LCS. We are halfway through week 8 of the summer split, and teams are desperately trying to make it to the finals in Krakow or stay out of that relegation zone. As you can see, everybody's excited to be here today and excited to get inside. It is a simmering hot day outside in Berlin, and there are the Splice Boys currently in second, looking to keep that and secure a semi-final bye. There are the Giants also looking to lock in their spot in playoffs, which would be monumental for these guys. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm EpicSkillshot supporter. Joining me at the analyst desk tonight are Mitch Kreppel-Voorspoels and Martin de Fischo Lunge. The adrenaline is pumping because it was a good day yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was...
No, because we totally just spilled something and we were trying to get
No,
No, that didn't happen.
I don't have sweat on my forehead. I have to like wipe everything off.
Sweat on your brow. Yesterday, super exciting day. Not a lot of ties, actually. Only 2-0s, so it means that the teams came to play and actually secured 2-0s for the first time, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of teams who seem to have learned how to close out games. We didn't have as many throws as maybe we've seen in the past. They give us a lot of 1-1s here and there. There were a few, maybe like Fnatic had one in game 1. Obviously, that wasn't too great.
Rocket was trying.
They were trying, but they
didn't
didn't
enough to throw it all the way.
They didn't 100% manage. I also think Splice, by the way, the way they came back in that first game was, yes, a mistake by Fnatic, but also an outplay on the side of Splice. Like, fantastic team fight from both Wonder and Sencooks, and then suddenly they win the fight and they're back into the game. So they deserved a 2-0.
And also interesting because some O2s aren't as grave as we had Vizicachi here. Said, yeah, we lost 0-2 to G2, but that is not as bad as if we would lose to a direct competitor for those spots right in the playoffs. Can you guys follow that kind of reasoning?
Yeah, everybody's just looking at each other, you know, and the relative rankings are getting super important. Those are also the stories like we need to tell right now. It no longer matters like this individual player is doing X or Y. No, it's all about, you know, where these teams end up in the race for playoffs, or if you are like Origen, in the race for not getting to relegation, so those championship points still stay valid.
Yeah, definitely, because if they end up in 7th, then they're all gone. Let's talk about the patch yesterday. Some strong performances, some strong champions. The Fish Show called it. Fiora's back. She played in 5 games. She won all of those games.
It was a good intro yesterday where we talked about Fiora and how she's going to be a very strong pick now. Also because we have a lot of carry top laners here in Europe.
Yeah, very happy for you, Deficio, that after your horrendous Lulu prediction.
No one heard that one anyway, but it's going to happen. Don't worry, Lulu will at some point be played in support. But another one was Sona we talked about. Very strong, obviously, in solo queue. I think in competitive play, a little bit too weak when it comes to mobility, too easy to gank it, TP on it, whatever it is specifically. It is strong in the laning phase, but it's not enough.
She's a better Sona, like, as she was before. Like, her gameplay, like, elements got buffed, but the problem is she still suffers from the same weaknesses. Another support that slightly got tweaked or kind of crept back into the meta was that Alistar. You know, saw it over in LCK a few times. Right now, it does seem that with the new build of going Ruby Side and Stone into Talisman, you know, Talisman then 20% reduction on that activable cooldown seems to be favored by some of the more playmaking supports on these bottom tier teams. They also just want more proactivity, right? Like they want to make stuff happen, and it's easier to do that with champions like Alistar.
Yep, definitely. Let's take a look at the standings where they stand now. The teams halfway through week 8 of the summer split. As said, G2 is still in first, and Splice is now firmly in second and is 2 spots ahead of Fnatic, then H2K, Giants, Unicorns of Love. Schalke got a bit of a hit yesterday, and then of course Origen, Rocket, even Vitality fighting to be in playoffs and out of relegation.
And just from looking at the schedule or the standings right now, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being like the way the standings look after week 9 as well. The only one is kind of the Unicorns of Love, Vitality fight going on, because Schalke has been looking very bad. Lost obviously to Rocket yesterday. Giants have the easiest schedule of any team remaining as well, so you would assume they can lock in a playoff spot, and then suddenly it's Unicorns and Vitality fighting for that number 6.
Yeah, but that's if everything goes as planned. If you then look at, like, for example, how Schalke is only 3 points away from Origen. Origen only need like 1 major upset, and if Schalke can keep on tilting, perhaps, because like their mental stability doesn't seem to be all that high. You know, they lost convincingly game 1 due to some individual mistakes, and then they fell apart like a house of cards. Like that wasn't on. There it is. Like it's on camera right now. Yeah, okay.
It's tilting.
They were literally tilting. 90 degrees tilt. You know, on the perfect horizontal.
I'm not jumping in. I'm just letting you dig here.
Yeah.
Anyways, Schalke's tilted. If Origen stops tilting themselves, they could actually make it to 7th. They're fine if they're 7th.
Yeah.
Problem is if they're 8th, because then they go to relegations or a promotion tournament, and that's where they lose their championship points.
Yeah, exactly.
But they play Fnatic today, so even with subbing in Xpeke, you shouldn't be able to get even just 1 point if you're Origin.
Fnatic yesterday,
you shouldn't.
The tilting might be initiated yesterday. 0-2 loss versus Splice for Fnatic.
On paper, Fnatic should take this one 2-0 without any problems.
Hey, on paper, Rocket was gonna lose 2-0 to Schalke.
Not as bad with Schalke being underperforming now for a few weeks.
This is also where like the end of split kind of madness kicks in, and those weird or things that you didn't expect do happen. So we'll see what happens today. Let's take a look at the schedule. Of course, H2K versus Splice will be first up in the arena. Giants will be taking on Vitality. In the studio, what match are you guys most looking forward to?
For me, it's still Origen and Fnatic that I really want to see. I had a guy reach out to me yesterday. He's like, "Hey, Crepo, what's your opinion on Origen?" I'm like, "I'm gonna be honest with you, bud. Like, not that great right now." It's like, "Yeah, but do you not think they'll get the playoffs buff?" I'm like, "I hate to break it to you, buddy, but I don't think they're gonna make playoffs at all.
Yeah.
So no playoff buff shall be had."
I agree. I don't think Origen is going to make playoffs. It would be a big surprise. Again, requires them to probably get points against Fnatic today. Another match was Vitality Giants playing over on EU LCS 2 as the first game. Because we talk about Giants, you know, like this is their last, like this is the toughest opponent they have left. Because then they play like Schalke after, and they play like Origen as well. So Vitality, I feel like Vitality is the toughest of those teams. And if Giants are able to like lock in a 2-0 here, they basically guarantee their playoff spot. And while Vitality will still be outside of playoffs. So I think that game is super important.
I have a couple of facts for you. Of course, we will update you guys as we go. But G2, if they get a 2-0 and Fnatic gets a 1-1 or less, that means G2 has their hands on that semifinal bye. So that's a possibility. And the top 5 can all lock playoffs today, depending on results, but not the Unicorns of Love. They still have to do some other things. And if Rocket lose 1 game, they are definitively mathematically out of playoffs. But as said, they're probably not aiming for that.
But yeah, mathematically, technically speaking, Division can still make Challenger, but like we're not waiting for that one to happen either.
Move on, please.
Moving on. For H2K versus Splice, make sure your browser is pointed at EULCS 1. For those of you guys on EULCS 2, we're going to send it to the studio for a look at Giants versus Vitality. We'll catch up with you guys a little bit later. For us, though,